there's this movie that the meeting is being recorded. Okay. There's this movie called The Hate You Give.
Yes,
Has anyone seen it?
I have not.
You
You have.
saw it, Robin? So there's this person in another place in another time. They're a pastor of a group of people, and they have people on Facebook every Friday night to talk about a different movie, and they're talking about that movie, or they were going to talk about it. I think that's a good idea for this group of people to watch a movie and then talk about it. So
I
anyway,
I
it's
love
an
that.
invitation, but I think and it has the name that's in your Heal the Hate. This is called The Hate You Give. So anyway, that's a thought. So my intention is to listen and to hear people, and I'm getting ready for a thing I have a little bit. So like sanity, I'm all about let's have some sanity.
And can you give us an update on Lawrence so that we can all send him love?
Well, he was invited. He might come on. He's very shy. Okay. And he's very shy, so he may or may not come on, but I think he came on one of your times, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's just, came back from the hospital yesterday. He has had a very strong COVID experience. And he's, caregiver gave it to him and two other siblings. And then so he was having a hard time.
So
And now
let's just send him lots and lots and lots of healing and lots of love, everybody.
he gets to be on oxygen for this month.
Wow.
Or more.
But he came out of the hospital yesterday or today.
Yesterday,
Yay, yay, yay,
I,
yay,
I
yay.
I hooked him up with some good food in his fridge, and I put in there something that I hope make him laugh. This spicy kimchi, or something like your mother-in-law's kimchi. It says it on the jar.
That's funny.
Anyway, that was a
All right. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad you're here, and I love your idea, and we'll check into that. Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to go next? Go for it, Doyle.
Um, my intention for being here really is to be part of society in making it a better place to be for everybody. The whole idea is a world that works for everyone with no one left behind.
Yes. Yes. Word. And is there anything in particular that you would like for any ideas that you have for the group today, or any intentions that you have for us today?
Coming up in somewhere in the next few weeks, there is a group that I meet with that their specific intention is how to create a golden civilization. And the last time I was on it, there were people from, I think, 9 different countries, all, with the concerns, what things would make a golden civilization, and then to create, a statement of intent for how everyone in that group can go forward, improving the world.
Love it.
So, I will, when I know the date, I will get that to you so you can send invitations for people to come and join.
Okay, so one of the things I've done is, if everybody will go to that Courses Heal the Hate page, when anybody sends me a resource, I'm adding it to that page.
Okay.
And so if anybody has anything that you want me to share with everybody, I'm having my tech team put it on that page. I'm also putting all the recordings that we have each time. And Cecilia came up with an idea also to have a way for us to have our names there, where everybody can sign their name so that we can connect with each other. So I'm going to see if there's some way that people can put their own names and numbers, or names and emails, so that you guys can communicate with each other. And no one is getting in here unless they have found, unless they've, been invited by someone, or they join through the Heal the Hate, and they have to put their own name and number and everything in there to join our group. So I don't know if
Makes
that
sense.
is, I don't know if that's good enough for everybody. but I don't want to be the only one that has all the information. I'm trying to have a place where you guys get a hold of it. So thanks, Doyle. I'd love to check in on that. All right, Robin, welcome with your little kitty. That's Katrina is a vet, and she just had her little kitty have her parts removed.
Yeah, she got.
Oh, good.
She
She
got-
doing okay?
She's not very happy with the world, and particularly unhappy with the shirt to keep her from licking. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
She like walk and growl and then purr and then growl and then walk and then growl.
Oh,
She really doesn't like it. And I pet
Yeah.
her. She purrs and then growls as soon as she remembers she's got the shirt on. So, she's a little bit of a cuckoo puff right now, but
yeah.
this is where she wants to be. So the good hoe that I am just being here.
I don't recommend to put things like that on your cats. And it's half a dozen one way, a dozen the other, whatever the saying is. But if the incision is tiny and there's very little trauma, if they do a very small incision, then you're torturing your cat for 7 days, because a cat's going to lick a little bit, but usually they won't lick it open. And if you see them licking it, then you put the shirt on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be miserable during their recovery, which lowers their immune system. There's a lot of evidence of why to keep your cat happy after surgery.
I know I debated that, and I was
It's
watching
hard.
her, and she was licking at it, and the incision is quite long.
Oh my.
Yeah, so I love the advice, and I'll
Sure.
maybe take it off and give her a bit more time.
That sounds good. Yeah.
She hates it for sure.
All right. So Robin, tell us what you'd like to get out of this call, and I'm so glad you got to join us. And
Well,
I
I
know,
think I already got it, and I'm healing some of Lena's hate
Yeah.
just by the prospect of taking off the shirt.
Yes.
Honestly, I didn't have any expectations, Beth. You told us about this some time ago, and I've not been able to attend, and really not. I mean, the name tells me something, but I don't know very much. So my intent is to be present and listen and see how what way I could potentially engage with y'all or with the content.
okay, well, let me just give you why I started this. My reason for starting this was because I wanted to, I know a lot of people that are super far on this end and super far on that end, and there's a lot of divisiveness in the world. And I'm one person that can really hold and love a bunch of triggers. And I'm looking for people that are able to do that with me, so that we can bring some of the healing to the world with a lot of the hurt and pain. And so
Nice.
we're talking about different ways to get there and how to get there and how to share. And I don't really have an agenda for where we're going with this, but I just wanted to create a space that I know if we get enough great minds together and everybody feels loved and cared for and gets to share their part, I've already felt uplifted, and just being a part of the people that have been around it. So that's why I started it.
Nice. I love it. Okay.
So Eric, what about you? What would you like to get out of today? What's your intention for today?
Well, my intention, just as it is most of the time in sessions like this or conversations like this, is to be open-minded, open-hearted, really listen, and to share from my heart. One thing I would love to kind of explore either today or in a future call is how do we apply what we're learning here in these conversations? Okay, so it's great to have these conversations. It's great to talk about this topic. And what do we do with it? How do we actually put it into the world? Who else do we talk to about this? I know last year on the Black Lives Matter movement, last summer especially, I was having a lot of these type of conversations with people and figuring out how can I apply this into what I'm doing. And so I offered a couple of workshops for youth, especially marginalized youth, and just helping them have these conversations and tap into their leadership voice. So that's one thing that I did back, several months ago, but I'm thinking, how do we maybe have a conversation about that? What can we do based on what we're learning here to apply it into our communities?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, thanks. Who wants to go next?
Well, I'm counting the faces on the screen. I guess that would be me. So I don't have any particular agenda. As usual, I'm here to listen and hopefully contribute to the conversation around the topic at hand. I will say that February winding down, Black History Month, there's been a lot of shows, a lot of information yesterday and this afternoon, depending on how much energy I have. There's been conferences and programs around Black History Month. So still, it's been an education and of course, thought-provoking and always, I don't know, just part of the whole growing up process. It's been a slow journey, but I am eventually growing up. So it's all learning. So that's why I'm here.
And I would love, really would love to have your help. Just walking in your shoes, what can we help do? What can we do? Is there anything that you see that's missing? Is there anything that you would like to have us communicate? Is there, I just really want to invite you to step into any leadership you want to step into. And in any one of us that wants to go there, go for it. Katrina, what's your intention? What would you like to get out of this?
I'm homesick, so
Oh no.
COVID negative, but fever, everything. I might not be worth very much today, but I have thought a lot about why do I keep coming back to this group? And I keep thinking I have absolutely nothing to offer this group,
That's
which is
not
exactly why I keep coming back, because God has really opened up the universe to me. And I did not realize that I was living so small, and I just lived the way my heart told me to. I don't treat people differently. And I did not really understand how bad it is. And recently I have a new friend that's in the Black business community, very successful Black man. And I cannot believe the difference in the help that I get as a woman, a white woman running my business, versus the help that he gets, which is nothing. I mean, the resources that he has versus the resources that I have are like day and night. And I guess I'm just here to learn. I'm here to have God open my eyes and show me what is it that I'm supposed to do to help this. Am I supposed to move to Costa Rica and avoid it? Probably not. But when I'm passionate about something, I'm really good at it. I just want to really understand the magnitude of what racism is doing to our lives and world.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I hear when I hear that, Black History Month is almost over, it makes me want to throw up.
Right? What do you mean month? Why does it have to just be a month? Sorry.
Yeah, it needs to be every day until
Yeah.
something transforms. Go ahead, Erica.
So there's this really cute trailer for this show I started to watch. It's not very good, the show, but it's called Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. And the little trailer is hilarious because it's her first day of school and you just got to see it. It's so cute. And it's like, damn, she's throwing down. So this new student, she's biracial, and she totally calls out her teacher because her teacher's like, this is AP English. Let's see if you can keep up. And she can. And she has something to say about the 15 authors are white men. And there's one author that is probably African-American male, and she's calling him out on it. And then it's a great little scene. So it's called Ginny and Georgia.
Well, if you get the link and you want me to put it on the page, I'll put it on the page.
I'll do it right now.
Okay, cool. Well, so I think one of the things that can be done is that we don't stop talking about it and we all keep looking and we all keep staying awake. And I have been watching MSNBC all month. And it does feel like things are changing. And I think the more racism that's coming out, the more I'm feeling the backlash of that as well. And even though there's, I think Biden's ratio right now is like 60 something percent positive. And a lot of the things, like there was just an LGBTQ, and I say LMNOP, that happened yesterday. And 3 Republicans voted for it, but 100% of the House voted for it. So, I think we're in such a powerful time. And I think one of the things that's really important is that we don't get caught in the hate. We don't become a hater of the haters, but instead we are able to really have empathy for the haters. Cause I was talking to my dad before this meeting and I said, I'd really like to talk to, what's her name? Green. The woman that's just being so vicious, this in the Senate, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, she's not necessarily vicious. She's just kooky.
Well, but a lot of the things that she's doing is vicious. Like it's so hurtful. Like there's a kid that she chased around that had just gone through, a child that had just gone through. And then yesterday she just put up a form. The woman across the hall has a transgender daughter and she put up a form. There's 2 sexes, male and female, and put a big, huge poster on the wall, which is just, as a parent, it's so hurtful to talk bad about my kids. And so I was thinking, she is the biggest, whenever you have a big bully, what's going on behind the bully is they are the one that's in the most pain. They're the one that's in the most hurt. Like even this summer during the Black Lives Matter movement, when a lot of things were being broken, it's like, of course things are being broken. People are pissed. Like if we don't start listening, and I was working with a client this week, and the parents had taken the daughter's the child's car away for 3 months, and she didn't know how to get her car back. And as you can imagine, she was pissed. So when instead of seeing a lot of this crazy, bodacious, outrageous behavior, if we can figure out what's underneath it, like what is causing this fear that's causing people to be so hateful and so hurtful. And one of the things that I think is critical is that we're able to see our own hate, and we're able to love and heal and be there for our own hurt feelings with each other in this room and with ourselves and with anything else we have icing on the, anything we have on top of that. But I love Erica's idea of maybe having a movie or a book or something that we all watch or participate in. And then maybe we invite people to come be a part of that.
Yeah, I like that idea too. And one of the groups that I'm part of, we call it TED Talk Talks. And we used to be all in person and now it's all virtual. We invite guests, and there's about 6 of us who are part of the organizing team. We invite 1 or 2 guests each to come into a Zoom room like this, and we all watch a TED Talk together and then talk about the TED Talk. And the topic is always something that most people would be interested in. It's not so esoteric, it's like, and one of the talks we listened to was a talk about civil rights and Black Lives Matter. So that's something we could do, is watch a TED Talk together or something like that.
Yeah, I love it. Something that would be edgy and that might even bristle some of our own bristleness so that we can also stretch and grow. Somebody asked me one time, what's the benefit of playing full out? What's the benefit of getting out of our comfort zone? And one of the benefits of getting out of our comfort zone is that we get a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger comfort zone. So the more we stretch beyond what is, then we are no longer uncomfortable and we can have more and more fun with a bigger life. So go ahead, Erica. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, it's like, I love that. Get uncomfortable, get in the conversation, get in the pool. You know, as a former performing artist, actor, stand-up comic, like I've been really riveted by Orange is the New Black, and what the last 3 seasons was just so awesome. And then they had like a Zoom conversation about what can you do about, you know, supporting women coming out of prison and getting back into their lives. And it is a color issue. It is it is race keeping the constraints of the race causes so many less services and so much less options. And it's riveting to see what happens in that show. They show their prison just happens to be next to an ICE detention center. So some of the women go over and they are the chefs for the ICE detention center. And it's just appalling to see what's going on. And like, so what are they doing about it? Like in the show, they deal with the issue so amazing. It's heartbreaking. But so it's like, how do we get in there and get in the conversation and be uncomfortable and then get on the other side of it? Like, what's the other side of it? Is how do we heal? And then it just ripples out as we keep getting uncomfortable and getting to the next place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I love it. I love it. So, does anybody have a particular reaction to that, to have a book or have a movie? Do you have how many are like yes, or how many are like, yeah, no, that's not yes, yes, yes?
What Erica was saying actually reminded me of that film, the documentary film, that 13th, and that kind of the progression of how we have, in one form or another, put the Black people into servitude, into low, whatever, slave labor in one form or another, including prison system,
Yes.
as a way to force them into labor for reduced wages. Yeah, so that was fascinating to me, and I didn't know that. I don't know if you want to put that on the list of ideas for movies, but that's certainly one that is amazing.
Would you mind putting it in the chat,
Putting what in the chat?
the name of that?
Oh, yeah.
Put that one in there. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Larissa?
So I was just on my other device checking, because there's a show called YouTube. I'm on YouTube way too much. Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I get the movie, I get the book, but it's a time issue for me. I don't necessarily I can't add anything else to my plate. But I did learn that you could actually share a YouTube video inside of, where are we, Zoom. So this one is actually 4.5 minutes. So that would be something we could do inside the call and then discuss it.
I love that. I love that.
So I will, and they're all pretty short. So I would be inclined to say that would be a good use of our time to just, whatever, pick something, or whoever wants to submit a video, and just do it during the call, because I'm sure we're all busy.
Yes.
I know I'm a little stretched right now, but I mean, obviously I want to contribute, and it's really about time. Like I see one of them is long, it's 12 minutes or 9 minutes, but that still leaves us discussion time.
Yeah. I love
So,
that.
Love that.
I would love that too.
oh, I don't know what this one is. It's called White Allergies. Maybe we should talk about that. I don't know what that topic could be. I have to watch some. I haven't watched them, but I've seen them, come across my feed. But it might be.
I've watched a few of those and have studied a lot of these conversations, and I think they'd be priceless. And I love short and sweet and more time to discuss. Instead of just getting inundated and inundated and inundated. I really think it would be beneficial for us to dish with each other, like really get to feel the feelings. of what-
What's the name of it again, Beth?
Go ahead, Larissa. It's uncomfortable conversations with a Black man.
Oh, yes,
Thank
with
you.
with Matthew McConaughey.
No, Matthew's not Black. Emmanuel Acho.
Ah,
So yeah, it's a whole series. So that's his channel. And so each week or however often he does this, there is a topic. And I just like the size, because like I said, they're bite size. I can do bite size. We can watch and have a conversation, because that way we're all getting at the same time and we're sharing or interacting in real time.
Yeah.
Because if we read something or we watch a movie and then we come back 2 weeks later, we've lost some of the finer points.
Yeah, I totally
So
agree.
I like being able to do it in real time.
How many are cool with that? All right. Erica? Yes, no, maybe so?
of course.
Katrina?
She flipped on.
Yeah?
I could share, so it's like the idea of coming with a curated clip that's a certain amount of time. And we could all watch that and then go and discuss, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it is fun homework to have movies to watch, right? I mean, we have the time in
Well,
some ways.
we could do both. Like we could
Yeah.
have,
Not either or.
this is, yeah, exactly. Yes, and we could do, in the call, if you can do it here, and then you've got the resources, and especially if something is kind of goes together. One of the things that I think might be a fun idea is, like, I want to challenge the Black Lives Matters for 1 month. I want to challenge that. And I would like to say, maybe all of us send a letter to, put a post out or send a letter to, or, just have that thought, why 1 month? And maybe if we did maybe if we all agreed we're going to do one tiny thing at the end of each call, and I'm going to, and we each say, I'm going to take this thing on. And somebody says, yeah, I love that. I'm going to take that on. So, like, one of the things, I don't know how you put something into MSNBC, but that's been something I've been watching, and they've been super supportive. I think I'm going to find some way to post there. Can we start some way of making this, create a challenge of 1 month? Anybody else have any ideas of something that you can see that you would want to do, or anything that's annoying you with what's going on right now? Go ahead, Erica.
So instead of talking about getting ready to think about, let's get uncomfortable right here, right now. Is there anything that is wanting to be said about how you're doing with what's going on right now that's uncomfortable, that's pushing your buttons, that's edgy? Like, what about the news from yesterday that is, what do you want to say? Let's say it.
Okay. All right. I'll take your double dog dare.
I double dog dare you.
Okay. So my edge of yesterday of the LGBTQ.
Oh, that thing, was it yesterday? It was 2 days ago.
I think
It was like 2 or 3 days ago. She put that stupid sign up that was just like, I'm so mad.
but the thing passed. I think it was last night. Anyway, whenever it passed, in the last day or two. I was like, wow, that is still a huge, like, I could still be really judged for that. And I feel very comfortable in the bubble that I'm in, and I don't really get a lot of things. But when I think about getting bigger, as bringing more out to the world, it makes me realize that I could be killed, I could be shot. They were talking on MSNBC about how many people, like, there are way more deaths in the gay and lesbian and trans communities this last year than in the last 20 years. More deaths have happened just in 2019 or 2020. And I know there's way more deaths in racism, and I know there's there's just a lot of anger right now. So I felt a little vulnerable. That's what I would say. I felt a little vulnerable after seeing that. Anybody else have anything that's come up for you in the news or with your friends, or anything that's doesn't have to be in response to me. It could be in your own bubble, or you can respond to me. Either way, I'm okay to response. But does anybody have their own
I
response?
do.
Go for it.
I hope we don't turn into a gripe session. This could get very depressing. Everything's negativo. But I wanted to post a public service announcement, if you will. Sometimes I read something and I feel like I should post it, but it was in Yahoo News. And when you share something in Yahoo News, it make you download the app, so I didn't share it, blah, blah. But the article was about the quality of our water, and I just wanted to stress, I mean, we're in 2021, why can't we have clean drinking water? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the studies show that communities with low income / people of color have more issues with the quality of their water. And in particular in smaller and rural communities, especially if they're 25% or more Latino, which is what they happen to bring up in this particular time, you know, they've got all this dirty, unclean water that's not being treated, it's not being tracked, it's not being reported. And it's like, oh, I don't have money. I mean, I don't understand that. And then they said that the reason we don't have money is because there's not enough people in the community to raise the rates. I mean, that is such a crock, but I'm just appalled that this is still an issue in 2021. You know, the chemicals that we get in the water that naturally, you know, cancer is the big scare, but of course that also in some cases lowers the IQ. It's like, you know, there's a lot of reporting we have to do on affordable housing. So that kind of colors my thinking a bit, which I will speak to that in a second. But like when they went through the whole lead-based lead paint, and so how children in low-income housing, they would, I don't know, I've never seen a kid put their chips in the mouth, but they said, you know, the dust or the chips, and so that lowered their IQ because they've been living in this environment. So it's the same thing with the water. You've got your lead, you've got your arsenic, and other bunch of things I can't, you know, pronounce. But yeah, that's a national tragedy. There's no excuse for that. There's so many things that need to be fixed. But yeah, that was a hot button for me. I actually read that today. That's why it's I'm a little bit elevated right now.
Well,
but I'll just say to you, I know I'm double dipping. But so the point of having these calls, what I learned, like again in housing, is like when we have a community meeting for the residents, the people that are causing the issues are not there. So we are of one mind and we're trying to improve, and you want us to be empathetic and sympathetic to people, but you know, that's a little bit challenged when they're not part of the conversation. So I guess from this call, we become better people when we reach out into the world, and maybe that's where the change starts, but it is a little bit of a one-sided conversation.
100%. 100%.
Relinquishing soapbox, go ahead.
No, I'm here and preach on. And yes, you're right. I felt that way about Texas as well, with the groups that were slowest to get their electricity back on, the groups that still don't have water, 7 days without water, just everything that's going on. And I think it is really going to have to be policy changes. It has to be legal billing, bills, policy changes. And any, for one thing for me is I'm going to be reading what I sign when I vote on things more carefully since this last year. And I think we do need to get the words to the people that have a chance to do something about it. So it's not falling on deaf ears, and I'm totally hearing you. Totally hearing you. What else? Who else has had a reaction or a thought or a feeling this last week?
Well, honestly, I don't follow the news much because most of it's pretty negative. So I try to be a positive person, but I'm, somewhat aware of what happens. But I'm kind of going back to what you initially said about empathy, Beth, how important that is for us to be empathetic of people of color or any, any or LGBTQ or whatever it is. And I think that's one of the big problems in this country is we are so divided, but we're so narrow-minded. And I'm generalizing here, but there's so many people who are so provincial in their thinking. They don't actually think of other people at all. They're just thinking about themselves and their families and their communities and people who think like them. And a lot of social media is basically following people that are like you or think like you. And so I think that's a huge problem, not just in the States, but this narrow-minded thinking just puts us in a box. And we just don't appreciate other people's points of view and other people's challenges. And we can't really even put ourselves in other people's shoes, or we choose not to. We all have the ability, but we just don't. And I think that's
don't even know.
we see separation between people, and it's just like that causes so many of our problems.
I'm not sure we do have the ability yet. I'm not sure that very
Everybody has the ability.
I don't know that people have the tool.
It's a human trait.
Well,
We just choose.
Potential.
It's a mental block. We don't want to, but we absolutely do. Everybody has empathy in them, just like everybody has anger, just like everybody has love. It's absolutely something we're born with, but it's
Okay,
you know,
so
our
can I say something?
programming and our
Can I say something?
experiences and our choices keep us in this is who I am and this is the people that I want to like, and I don't want to like those people because they're different than me.
Okay, so can I say something, Eric?
Hmm.
I notice I get a reaction from when I hear you say everybody, anybody, all those absolutes are super triggering because you're making some assumptions, I imagine. You're making some assumptions when you say anybody, everybody, because what about the
Be
person
more
that
specific. So I said everybody has empathy in them. Would you disagree with that?
Hitler? I don't know. So what I want to say
Absolutely, he
is,
did. Every single person in history has had it.
okay, but so when you make those kind of, let's just kind of make some ground rules here. Maybe Beth can help with that. Is like the ground rules are speak from your own point, your own I will really help everybody to not just to be more inclusive. I, you know yourself, and what I see, versus everybody, because there are people who are choosing certain things and it might not be a choice.
so
Everybody has empathy. I don't know about that.
Well,
I,
I'm not
I would
Everybody
hope-
has
I
anger
wish
in them?
that. I wish that everybody has empathy.
So I'm going to challenge you, Eric. Do you think everybody has anger in them?
Everybody has everything. Everybody has everything because, and who am I to say that everybody has like that? Thank you for that challenge. And I just would like to recommend that if we're going to have this direct talk conversation that can be kind of pushing our buttons and challenging, let's speak from the I. Like I notice like a generalization warning light going off when I hear you say everybody can feel empathy. Everybody can have compassion. That I just would like for you to be try to go for responsibility with the languaging, because we just don't know what each and every person's experience is. Obviously, we can make an assumption that we want to heal something coming to this call, coming to this conversation.
So Erica, permission to coach.
Yeah.
So I feel when things get heated up, blah, 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 blah. I experience blah, 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 blah. Instead of when I feel.
I come from a different lineage where you get more, I resent you for saying everybody. That's a little more confrontive. I resent you for saying the word everybody feels what the word was. Everybody feels compassion. Everybody feels empathy. Because I just notice, I just don't notice that. I don't experience that as an everybody. Like, what about Kim Jong-un? What about Donald Trump? What about, I don't know how Donald Trump is feeling compassion for those people in Puerto Rico when he was throwing paper towels at them.
So
So
time
my
so
point
time out.
was that he has the capacity, but he's choosing not because he's a human being. That's my point.
Okay,
I'm
so
not saying
time-
he
so
is
time out.
compassionate.
He is a
I'm
human
not saying
being.
he acts compassionately. I'm saying he has the capacity.
Okay, so time out.
He has the capacity. He has the capacity.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
he has the
Everybody has
capacity,
the capacity.
but based on
Beth, you have the ability to mute them.
Okay,
Yes.
hold on,
You-
hold on.
you-
Erica,
you-
Eric, hold on. Okay, so I so get the passion and I so get where you guys are coming from, wanting to be in a space of this is my opinion and this is where I'm coming from, both and. How can we utilize empathy in this moment with each other instead
Sure.
of my way, my thoughts, my feelings? Doyle and then Katrina. You had your hand up, Doyle. You can
I
pass.
did.
You can pass it on
Um,
to Katrina if you want.
One, I think what's happening is what Eric, and I'm going to interpret what I heard Eric say. We all have the potential. We are all somewhere on the spectrum of empathy and hate. That, there's 0 to 100. And we all continue to go on. I also agree with you, Beth, that saying always puts people on the defensive. And we have to be aware of what people's triggers are as we learn them.
And this is a great opportunity in place for us to stop, drop, roll, learn with each other, and when stuff gets heated, be willing to be reflective right there in that moment. And Erica, you are used to being in experiences that may be different level of
Sure.
and Eric as well. And I'm not sure everybody else in this group is ready for that level of
Yeah, sure. And I agree. So not everybody's taken the radical honesty, 8-day training 5,000 times and done the work of that kind of speak. And I totally get it that might have put you off, Eric. And what I want to say is let's make some agreements about the kind of languaging we want to have here versus making these everybody and anybody. Because I just noticed that it's like ding, ding, ding. That's what I feel.
okay, so time out. I'll come back to you in just a second, Erica, and I'll give you a chance to put a potential norm in the space. Go ahead, Katrina.
I feel very inclined to put my opinion in here, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear this, but to set standards right off the bat that we can't say everybody and everyone and that's not the focus. If we come to situations like this, if we open our hearts and we listen to each other, neither one of you are right or wrong, and there is no right or wrong. It's what's in your heart. In my heart, when I say something and if it gives anyone a trigger, I'm going to investigate that within myself and say, okay, is this a me issue? Is this a them issue? And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to come from a place of love. That's how you solve issues. That's how you make an actual difference. We're not trying to change people's minds, but really this is 2021. Everything is out of sorts. What you thought yesterday, if you stop and really think about it from your heart, it doesn't make any sense a lot of times. I mean, we've got to stop what we thought was okay yesterday and have a clean slate, not have any rules, and have enough compassion toward each other to say, okay, Yeah, when I say everyone or everybody, it
Or
makes
all the
me feel
time.
like I'm a little bit out of control. Like I have no control over this situation because it's everybody. Well, it's not everybody in any situation. All we have is our village. And what we're trying to do here is expand our village to others. But if we don't come from a place of love in this village, we'll never reach anybody else. So I would just recommend to maybe think about this over the next week. Everybody think about, well, really, it's just these two people, but
Well,
really think about, does it make sense? Does it make any sense at all that someone would be triggered by you using those words? Does it make sense that you are triggered? Well, you never have to make sense of triggers. So you don't have to do that work. You've already done that work. So, I mean, and just talk about it next week from a different perspective.
And so
Okay,
when
go
I
ahead,
hear,
Robin. Hold on, Erica. Go ahead, Robin.
Erica had a similar sort of gut response to some of what Eric said. And Eric, I think you have a lot of truth. And I might say in this space, it's the spirit of the law versus the literal words coming out of his mouth, because scientifically speaking, yes, there are people that don't have empathy. But that's not what he was trying to say to Doyle's point. So I agree with you, Katrina. Let's find that space where we all can meet and reflect. Yes, mind your words and your manners as much as possible, as you would in any kind of group like this. But also give each other that grace, the spirit of what is intended in the words versus the literal statement, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Erica.
yeah, I noticed that I was like all felt safe to just jump in and be like my big amazing self. And then yeah, I don't know. I've only been on this once before, and I was distracted when I was on this once before. And what I feel is that yeah, it's really hard to make agreements for this kind of conscious conversation. It's challenging because there's already a fucking buttload of assumptions that are going on. Like right there, Katrina, we should all talk about this next week. And, like, oh, okay, so I can make up one thing, I can make up another thing about that. I could.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's okay.
am so
No,
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. No, it's okay. So it's like,
No, I triggered you.
oh, you didn't
And-
trigger me. No, you didn't trigger me. You didn't trigger
Oh,
me.
good.
I just the languaging of all of ourselves. It's like it's like walking on eggshells if we're really being mindful. I feel I need to be mindful. I need to be mindful of my language all the time. And
Yes,
I have people in my
yes,
life
we all
that
do.
are-
Yes, we all do.
I'm a health professional. I'm a healer. I'm a shaman. I'm a therapist. I'm a massage therapist. I have people in my life who, I tell them about this cool thing I'm excited about, the Healy, and they think I'm from another planet. And I'm like, it's normal, like it's normal that they think that about me, that I'm from another planet, and that's my life. Is I have a lot of people who don't get what I talk about or do, and I have people who get it. And so when, just this idea, this opportunity that we have we have an opportunity here, maybe, or we don't, if you don't say yes to this opportunity of how we connect and find connection roads. So what I kind of jumped down, I feel like I jumped down Eric's throat a little bit with the everybody, anybody, nobody, anybody, because right there, that has people get off the bus. Like I felt like I was getting off that bus right there when you said that. And I want to be on the bus about this conversation about how do we heal the hate. And healing the hate is how do we be more connected? How do I be my leader about this very important topic that is loaded and is so fraught with assumptions, interpretations, and judgments and assessments. So it's loaded. This is loaded.
Okay,
That's my speech.
okay, Eric, I'd love to have your perception of where you're feeling right now.
Yeah, no, it's all resonating for me. I appreciate everybody's feedback and thoughts. And yeah, we've got a thought in our mind or a feeling, and we want to just express it. And I like what you shared, Erica, about being mindful. I think mindfulness is an important part of, especially in group settings, is like thinking about the group and being mindful with your language, really important. And I'm the kind of person who's going to really speak my mind and speak from my heart. I think that was my intention at the very beginning of this session. It's like, okay, that's how I feel. But you know what? Not everybody's going to, think the same or even agree with me. That's okay. But I think there's something to be said around just being mindful of, how I'm speaking and thinking about the collective. And yeah, I'm so glad to be part of this because it is an important topic. And every time that I've been on these calls, it's been a really rich discussion that I've learned something from it. I've gained insights, and I hope I've offered something valuable too. So I think there's something to be said about mindfulness and just thinking about the collective here, what we're all trying to accomplish together.
I think it's so great what you just said, Eric. And like, what creative genius can we come up with that fucking sign that lady put up? That fucking sign that lady put up, whatever her name is, with the 3 names, Marsha Taylor Greene, whatever her name is.
Marjorie, yeah.
That sign, like, with all of our minds putting that together to
What's her name?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Greene.
She's a House of Representatives person. Like,
From Georgia, yeah, where I live.
what would be the
Oh,
sign that we put up on top of her sign?
Marjorie.
Marjorie.
Okay, hold on. Before we go down that, I want to keep it in the emotion that we were just in. Look, Larissa, what's your take?
Well, I heard both
Larissa, gosh.
Eric and Erica have their conversations, but I am challenged when people say everyone and everybody are always, absolutes are a challenge for me, but I'm not always gonna call it out. So I don't have a huge take on that. I mean, it is, I don't agree with absolutes, I guess. So it's tough when we're having difficult conversations. Sometimes toes are gonna get stepped on. You talked about that in the first few calls. And so I think today some toes were crunched. So, I mean, that was quite obvious, but I just urge us to be cautious and not get caught up in the semantics. Sometimes that is a distraction from the topic at hand. So we all have our opinions, and we just, when you're passionate about something, you don't always remember to say, I feel that. Sometimes you're just like, bam, and that's how it comes out, and it's not always well received. But I would say that it sounds like, we have some passionate folks here. And so today was one of those, not even squirmy days. It was lively. So
Yes.
it is what it is. We're just not always going to slow down and, and say it correctly. I mess up all the time, but I do believe folks are entitled to their opinion. There's a little saying about that. They're like, that word I'm not going to say, but everyone has them. So everyone's entitled, and we move on. I don't have to agree.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily going to attack someone about semantics. I may be, because, when we left the call last week, Beth, you said we were going to come back and talk about our mirror, about some things that you didn't say projecting, but I kind of took it as projection, of what we see in another person is what is also in ourselves.
Potentially.
So the hot button or hot topic today, or one of, is, this cancel culture. And so, I mean, for so long, so many years, I've avoided those difficult conversations because what? Oh yes, they're difficult. And, I'm busy with the art of living and I don't have time to get dragged out. And so I just tend to avoid. I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to get buried in the ugly. So when things are, people are not, I say really not positive, that sounds very Pollyanna, but sometimes you just step away. And so it's the same thing. It was not my conversation. They were having at it. And so I'm just here, and then we come back into the fold and we carry on. But it just had to work its way through the system, through the plumbing, and then we move on.
I love it. Thank you for that. Thank you for that reflection. So I think we all did really great in a little experience of everybody having some edge and everybody having an opinion and everybody having their own, we all put some stuff in the soup. One of the things that we might have as an agreement, I love Erica's idea that we have some agreements. And I also, I think that most of the agreements, whether we like it or not, this is going to be a group and we'll have norms, and they'll either be spoken norms or unspoken norms. So we might as well have a few spoken norms, knowing that people are going to break the norms. And then what do we do when people break the norms? Do we have a loving way to bring people in, or are we going to cancel culture ourselves or the other? So this is, if we can practice in some of these edgy moments that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things, like nobody really cares and no one's going to lose sleep over this conversation. But if we can learn from the experience and how we impact others and how others impact us, we might be able to be better expressive in the world when it is something that's super hot. So I'm just going to propose a possibility real quick, Eric, and then I'll go to you. Propose a possibility. If anybody at any time feels like we're either, you'd like to do a timeout, and we all agree we're going to stop the content and go into the loving process. We're going to get out of the righteousness, and we're going to get out of the who's right and who's wrong, and get into the how do we want to get back to love in this moment, and who needs what. Like, did Erica need something in that moment, or did Eric need something in that moment? And what's going to bring us back to, and maybe just the timeout means let's all do a 30-second self-reflection, and we all make a statement of I'm taking this away. Like what you just did, Larissa, would be a self-reflection. And what Robin did would be a self-reflection. And so like that. What do you guys think? Would that be helpful or not helpful? And everybody has the power to do it, and anybody can not do it.
A safe word,
A safe word.
right?
Yeah.
A safe word or phrase.
What would be fun is to use signs like signing, like
Well, that's what I was doing. I was doing this timeout.
timeout, or like I'm in a pile, I need a halter, just other symbols that we could, be inclusive.
All right. Okay.
I'm walking, I'm going, I'm out.
Peace. I'm out. Okay. So
There.
is there any other word that anybody, or any other norm that anybody would like to propose? Are you guys in agreement with this being at any point when we're in a conversation and somebody says, hey, can we just take a pause out of the content and get back to the process? Anybody okay with that or not okay with that? Thumbs up from Robin. Yes, yes, yes. Erica, yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. So anybody else want to propose a norm? I have another norm.
Oh, good.
Another norm that I have found that it has been really helpful is when you get into a heated discussion with somebody, if you can use a word, I call it joining. We seem to be in a heated space right now. I'm just going to talk from me for a second. I feel blah, blah, blah. I need blah, blah, blah. And that can a lot of times help bring down a
Energy.
heightened space.
Mhm.
Is that something that would be helpful or not helpful? So that could even be used when the timeout happens.
Mhm.
That in that moment, we all go to a space of, I feel triggered now, or I feel shut down now, or I feel like I want to walk now. And just say, I feel, without any judgment or intention to change the other. So you guys want to practice it just this with this one experience we just had?
What was this experience we just had from your point of view, Beth? What happened?
Okay,
Because it was like,
I'll go first.
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel inspired. I feel excited by the conversation we just had, and the passion and the love and the willingness for everybody to stay in the soup. And I feel so grateful.
You stole mine.
You go next.
I was just grateful. I was I felt early in the intensity. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And then I'm just so grateful that everybody really stayed open and heard each other pretty well. And
Pretty well.
oh, well, it took us a minute. But then we circled back to really a beautiful space, and we've learned about each other and how this space, I think that's really beautiful. I guess I did have more to say.
Okay, thanks. Who wants to go next?
Can I ask Robin, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How do you know?
And then I'll go.
Cool. How do you know it's a beautiful space that you're in right now?
I observed and believe that we talked through difficult energy and a bit of conflict, and the end result is a productive conversation about how to go forward and what we want and how to engage with each other in a healthy way.
Go ahead, Katrina.
I think that now I know why I keep coming back, because this may not be about a whole huge whoever we're inviting and doing for, but we have the ability to change each other's hearts. It's about us. And I have no idea why God put me in this group, but I'm so excited about the opportunity because this is huge. I mean, I have learned more about myself and just getting myself thinking during this call than I have in a year's worth of therapy. So I'm excited. As crazy as that may seem, this was like a hurdle. I feel like we're at the next level with each other. Like there's a little more trust now because we know what it looks like when people disagree. Check. Let's move on. I'm so glad, even with COVID symptoms and being quarantined, I showed up today. It's been great. Thank you guys.
Cool. Who wants to go next? What's your I feel from what happened? Go ahead, Eric.
So I feel positively challenged and grateful and edified and excited.
Tell me more about the edified.
I feel like I learned something very valuable for myself today.
I'd love to know what.
Well, not to generalize and to come from my perspective. That's helpful.
Love you, Eric.
Love you too.
Who's next? Doyle?
You know, there's a certain amount of gratitude to see the unfolding of a conflict and then to see it resolved in a way that doesn't shut anybody out. That, you know, it's a little microcosm of society that needs to be addressed, you know, at many, many different levels.
So how did it make you feel?
I think it was some pride for being in the group. You know, and a little like there was uncertainty as well. Oh, what's happening here? And then, you know, I'm a guy, how can I fix it?
I think you're generalizing there, Doyle.
Just saying. All right, Larissa, Erica, who wants to go next?
I'm just gonna speak up briefly. If we could just throw an E in there, I'm gonna remember to change my name on the screen. Larissa, not Larissa, Larissa. So anywho, you know, I'm not carrying it with me. I was surprised at the level of animation for that spate of time. So at this point, I'm just glad that we were able to come back into the fold because it was, I was just surprised. But, you know, everyone behaved like an adult and, you know, we came back into the fold. And so I think we can move forward.
Love it, love it, love it.
Well put.
And I think part of the getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, which we talked about in the beginning, will help us hold space. Like if we can do this with each other, it'll help us do it with others. Erica, what's your feel from what went down?
I really miss my radical honesty community that I got.
I'll play with you, Erica. I'll play with you in radical honesty. And after the call, let's go.
Sure. And, you know, so I just realized how the people that I know from that community, like, and the people that I got to practice with, they're people that I just will love forever, you know, no matter what. And so I love each and every one of you, all y'alls, everybody, you know, for letting this messiness that I imagine just happened. And look, no guns. Nope. And, you know, this is the messiness that I imagine this messiness can roll us forward to more beautiful, powerful conversations where there can be more healing. And to me, there was no bloodshed, so we're all good. And I feel closer to Eric. In my mind, I feel closer to him because we just had this like little boiling point, and then, or it was a big boil, who knows what kind of a boiling point. It was something, and then something happened. So I'm really glad that everybody else stayed through the thing. And I don't even know, is this like a 2-hour thing or a 1-hour thing?
It's an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Oh, perfect timing. So I'm glad that I could be a little bit of a instigator. Not that I wanted to be, but you know, this instigating quality. It's like this desire to be connected and connecting. And yeah, I guess I miss like rolling around with people. And this is like we had a roll around, drop down, drag out, roll around. And it's like, ooh, you know, and I don't even play football, but I really appreciate the getting into it. I mean, when I saw that video of that woman, Marjorie, whatever the hell her name,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I just saw that video of this wonderful person putting up their color of the purple, the lavender color to honor their kid. And then this idiot puts that sign up and she's like, fuck you, fungul, you know? And it's just like, I had so many reactions to that. I didn't have anybody to share that reaction to. And now I feel it. I feel the energy coming through my body. I feel angry. I feel we can do something creatively brilliant about the response for that woman, whether we put this conversation on, whether we as a group suggest to that senator or congressperson to, what's your sign, your reaction sign? Over here is kindness and empathy. Over there, you're ignorant to your own ridiculousness, like something better than that. We need to wordsmith that, right? But
Love
it's just like something
Yes,
to
look.
respond genius to that woman that did that thing. And then everybody in the country can be like, yeah, right on. Like some logo. We can ask Lawrence for a logo. It's like, you idiot.
All right.
So anyway.
Time out. So time out.
Yeah.
So I
one-
need to do a timeout. Sorry, Beth, but I do need to drop off. I've got something else I need to do. I have to feed my fur babies. But thank you all for this great conversation. Thank you, Erica, for sharing what you did. Yes, I feel connected to you and everybody.
Thanks,
So,
Eric.
Everybody.
thank you guys. Sorry I have to drop off. See you in a couple weeks.
Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
So one of the things that I would say about the empathy, back to what we were talking about with the empathy, is I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has so much pain in her, so much woundedness in her, that it comes out in hurt. It comes out in rage. And the more shaming the world does, and trust me, I have the same reaction, Erica. I want to shame her too, and I want to take her down too. And I know the more she gets shamed, the bigger a monster she becomes, the more hurtful she becomes, the bigger her sign gets,
Hmm.
the more her platform screams.
Puff up to protect it.
Yeah. So when somebody is enraged, which I think so much of the world is feeling, and it may come across we may not say it the quote right way, somebody's got to hold the space and not hit them back with more rage. And that's the vision I see for this group.
Yeah, I would love like some kind of passive restraint for that woman. You know what passive restraint is? It's like you just,
Yeah, I think they call it a hug.
just hold her in her that energy of just being held with all of that stuff that she's got. And anyway, that's what I see.
Yeah, she
And-
needs
and-
a lot of love.
And so, Larissa, one of the examples of the mirror would be, and Erica, I'm guessing today you would love a hug.
Oh, sure. I'm COVID negative too. I'm safe. I've gotten not tested once, but twice.
I thought the mirror was internal, not reflective.
It's both.
Hmm.
And you have to know somebody really, really careful before you ever say what I just said.
Yeah.
Ever, ever, ever. But Erica's a really super, super close friend of mine, so I know I can say that. But the actual way you play with it is from a space of what triggers me and what in me got triggered. So whatever went down with the all or the always or the never, what happened within me? What did I make that mean? And then how can I express how I feel instead of taking the other person on? That's just a tool that can be used. And one of the things that I would love to do is in the last, we've got about 15 more minutes. Larissa, I would love to hear anything from your perspective of what you're pissed about with white people. I'd love to hear that.
Amen.
Anybody else?
Me too.
Well, it's like a rant. I would love to hear your rant. I would love to hear everybody's rant. The
It's good.
rant
Yeah.
quality is welcome. And it's like, it's fascinating to see the energy coming through the body and just being aware and noticing all the sensations of what occurs. When I just said all that communication before, I was like really having this experience just then. And now, yeah, I can think about it. Oh, did I do that? Did I look okay? So Larissa, yeah.
And I want to just say for all of us, when and if you choose to take that on, that we are not, that our role will not, you get to choose how we respond. You can say, I'm open to feedback, or I'm open to what someone may say. You get to ask at the end of the rant what you would like to have back.
I don't know that I have a specific rant when I'm upset about something. It's person specific. So I don't, again, I was stuck in our homework. So, I was looking for what was, I don't know, you said the ugly inside. And so the ugly inside was, I noticed being judgmental, because I'm at the point of talking to my TV now. So, I'm like, you're so stupid, or that is just dumb. You hear something on TV, and so that was my ugly being reflected, is that I become more judgmental because I hear someone say
What
something.
are you fussing about?
So that's really, I don't have a rant. I mean, it's like, it would be in the moment.
Well,
So
would you be willing,
huh?
would you be willing to share any of those reflecting moments?
Like when I called somebody stupid or called that stupid? Yeah. So it's just, to Eric's point about not watching the news, sometimes I do have to wean myself off for a couple days, because, there's a lot of, I'm calling them ignorant thoughts. I'm just, when people say something to me that is clearly not factual, I mean, it's like, can you read with your own eyes, or can you read with your own mind and investigate yourself, rather than take something, what's that child's name? Trump says, literally. So, I mean, comments that people who are Trump supporters, or in this case, it seems like a lot of GOP people, I just do not see the intelligence or the integrity behind it. So yeah, that's a general, because I mean, again, I try very specifically and intentionally not to get weighed down with all the poison that is out there. I don't have time for that. It's exhausting and it doesn't serve me. So I'll try and make note of something that's upset me, other than, like I said, that water that I read. That's, that was something that I just read, I don't know, an hour before we got on this call. So I don't have a generalization about white people that I can, start ranting about, if you will. Again, it's person specific. So I will say that in my job, I work in affordable housing, so that's below market rate housing. I'm on the property management side. So I do feel that, or I have felt that some of the people who work in the office confuse me with the generalizations that people make about low income residents. So that is something that has come up. So, but I don't necessarily say that it's just white people, because in affordable housing, there's a little bit of diversity. So I think it's just people see brown skin and they decide that, oh, this is where you come from and this is who you're about. My neighbor, I'm in Manteca, if you guys, that's in Northern California. I was out working in my yard and it was a big load, and the neighbor came over and offered to help. And I know he didn't know what to do with me, because he said, are you from the valley? I said, well, first of all, probably not, because I don't even know what that means. So again, people just look at me and make assumptions. So is that a generalization? Yes, but it's not. I don't think it's just tied to white people. So I don't know how to answer that question right this minute. It's not something I think about. I don't have a laundry list of things that irritate me right this minute, because people can be ignorant of any color. So when I get upset, it's at that person. It's not at a race.
Yep, I hear you.
So I'll try and be more angry next call.
I'll try and say something for you to be angry at. How's that?
I found permission to respond, permission to reflect.
Please do.
I find that what you're saying is quite expressive, and a rant does not have to be angry. I felt like you were Robin doing her rant moves there. I felt like I could really hear and see, and I learned something from what you said. And yes, I totally agree. We all always, never not, completely, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Just being funny. That we I try to keep myself in check on all my assumptions.
Mhm.
And it's so
Stereotype,
hard, it's so
bias.
hard not to do that with anybody and everybody.
Mhm.
Anybody else want to reflect what it was for you?
Hmm.
What was the original question?
The question is how you are in reflection to what was just said.
Oh, yeah. Only thought of like um, I, I love I don't remember where I learned it, but the distinction between stupid and ignorant. Ignorant is a lack of information, and stupidity is the information's available and you choose not to use it. I always liked that. I don't know if that's a reflection exactly, but or a random thought that I had.
That works.
Oh, wow.
So,
Go for it, Doyle.
Larissa, thank you very much for sharing. And thank you very much for your outlook, because it's the way we should all treat each other.
Mhm.
So I think that's the only thing I can add there. So
Nice.
Erica, any reflection?
I love the sound of your voice, Larissa, and I wish that I could hear more of you. Like, your voice is so beautiful and um even. And I also, so I just was loving everything you're saying, and it was poetry to hear you, to me. So more, I would like to hear more of you. I really appreciated getting to see you when I was on that cruise, and now it's like, wow, oh, I didn't get to hear so much out of you. So it's so fun to hear you now.
Thank you, Erica.
Katrina, you have a reflection?
I don't have anything new to add. I'll pass.
Okay. So do we want to next call, do we want to try to get a particular thing for us to discuss, to watch and discuss together? Does anybody want to volunteer to bring something?
I like the idea of
I'll find one of those short videos.
Okay,
And I don't know, so I'll just have it open. So for when we get into the meeting, then we can just, if you let me share the screen, then we can just watch it and talk about it. And maybe I'll just pick something less than 15 minutes, so that way we have plenty of time to discuss and or talk about other things, but
super.
no longer than that.
and are we all still good on the hour and a half? Does this feel like too much or good enough?
I
Okay,
thought it was only an hour. I was relieved when you kept going.
Let's
Okay.
make it 5 hours.
well,
All right, now I'm going to push back. Yeah.
we did the first call or two, it was an hour and it felt like it was just not enough, not quite enough.
Yeah.
So
Is it different people each time, or is it the same people roughly?
little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. I've been at every one. Larissa's been at every one. Joel's been at almost every one.
I missed last one.
Eric's been at almost every one. Katrina's been at almost. We have several other people that have been at most every one.
I wouldn't mind, and I don't know if you've decided not to do this, but a little teensy introduction at the beginning.
Well, we did that for about the first 3 calls.
You did, okay.
But we can do it right now. I think we have 5 minutes left. So if everybody wanted to take a minute and introduce themselves, we could do that. And what I did was say, what is your connection to Heal the Hate, and what do you want us to know about you? And Robin, would you be willing to go first?
Oh, whatever. I just wanted to know about y'all. I don't.
We know each other. We don't know you, so
There you go.
I'm ready.
I'm I'm with Barb, who is one of Beth's long time friends, and I'm a therapist in Seattle, and I connect to heal the hate? I don't know how to answer that. How do I connect? But I'm appreciative of a connection here.
I can give you a connection.
Okay.
What I would say is that you're a super loving person and you love a lot of people. You have a huge heart, and your whole life's work is about healing hate.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Who do you not know that you want to know? Pick a name, tag
Well,
somebody.
I guess I know Katrina's a vet, but anybody else, I don't know. And then of course, what would Katrina want me to know, as well as everyone else? I love your question.
Go, Katrina. What would you like us to know about you?
I am a mother of two, a single mother of two, with a whole household full of animals that are constantly pulling my attention as much as the children. No, you can't have my hamburger. There's one of them.
Oh,
The only thing I love people and I love animals and I love my children, and I always, my mama taught me to leave things better than you found them, and I think that means everything in life and every relationship and situation you're in. So I am just figuring out how I can leave things better. We'll see where we go.
And Katrina also is the head of she owns the animal house, and
Oh yeah, I own a veterinary hospital.
she owns a veterinary hospital with other vets and people, and she's just magical on this planet on what she's doing. And I met her magically bringing my puppy dog to her. We met through coming in, me bringing Pascal to the vet,
aw,
and I
nice.
just am so grateful. She gave Pascal an additional at least however many more months, 6 months,
Nice.
Of good months.
pain free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fist bump, Mom. Fist bump. Good job.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Who else wants to share who you are and why you're here?
And you don't have to.
Go Doyle.
Well, I met Beth through a group that was designed to help us improve our businesses. I am an investment advisor as well as a licensed prayer practitioner for the Center for Spiritual Living. And I have an absolute love of life and want to see things better for everybody.
Nice.
He's a spiritual financial advisor.
That's awesome.
Is that cool or what?
I reveal abundance on all levels.
Yes, he
Very
does.
Cool.
Go ahead, Erica.
So I am here in the Bay Area. I'm originally from New York, and what else? I'm a healer. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a massage therapist, and I'm teaching tonight, y'all. Welcome to something completely different. No guns, no guns. A healing movement protocol, and my friend is playing music for it. Hassan Bakar from originally from New York, but he's in Florida right now. And it's a beautiful healing protocol that you can play with me. And I just really feel appreciative that we got to do this. This is a great thing. I think it could be done more on Clubhouse and other places, Dr. Beth.
All right,
And
let's talk about that.
yeah.
And Erica's also a snow ski buddy, and Robin's wife Barb loves to ski. They've met each other.
Oh,
And
nice.
and
Wait, Robin's wife is Barbara Weiss?
yeah,
Oh, I skied with that girl. She's fun.
Yeah.
She's fun.
So when you come skiing, let me know because I live in Reno.
Oh, good.
oh,
Good.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
I love
what-
any kind of snow. I used to live in Vermont for 7 years, so I'm definitely a snow person.
okay, Larissa, give us what you got. Who are you and why are you here?
Larissa, like Teresa, is in Northern California. I am a military brat. I joined the military. So my philosophy really is one world, one love. And I don't understand why folks can't get along. So that's essentially why I am here. So
Beautiful.
I have a song.
I got a song.
One love. Okay, so
What's your song?
I'll sing it to you later. Let's do one word out and wrap this puppy up. One word out. Erica, what's your takeaway? One word.
Curious.
Robin,
Grace.
Larissa,
peace.
Doyle,
Joy.
Katrina,
Love.
mine's love.
Mhm.
Mwah.
Right.
So
Super.
grateful everybody showed up. See you in 2 weeks.
Great to meet
Okay.
you all.
Right.
Good to see you, Robin.
Nice, Beth.